Hello everyone, Ben here, and welcome to another video. This is going to be an election projection. This is going to be kind of looking forward to 2024. And the projections on the electoral vote. So this is what the Electoral College is expected to look like in 2024 based off of a few people's projections off of census data. There are a few differences. West Virginia loses a vote, Ohio loses a vote, Pennsylvania loses a vote, Michigan loses a vote, Minnesota loses a vote, Illinois loses two. Let's see. Alabama also loses a vote, it looks like. Other than that, so gains in votes will be in North Carolina, Florida, which is gaining 2. Texas gains 4. Arizona gains 1. Colorado gains 1. Oregon gains 1. If I'm missing 1 or 2 votes here or there, that's on me. So I kind of want to talk about the 2020s, and I've talked to a few people who do political science at the college in the town where I live, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I've got this weird nagging suspicion that the Democrats are going to have a disadvantage in the 2020s. And the reason why I decided to ask these people, and I've gotten a few responses back, and they mostly agree. They want to see a little more data on demographic changes, but they definitely agree. So it's a question of how significant is it going to be? Well, let's just pull up states that I don't think anybody is going to reasonably say are going to even become competitive in that time. So we're going to assign, these as the Republican states that just start off straight, and these are going to be the Democrat states. Oops, sorry, I missed that one. That I don't think anybody is going to reasonably suggest that a Republican has a chance at. Sorry, I forgot that for the Republicans. Okay, so it looks like the Democrats have an advantage, but here's the problem. I'm going to run by them one by one. The reason why I'm including Texas in this is because I've heard a lot of Democrats say with a straight face they're going to be competitive in Texas. But the truth is, it's not. It's not going to happen. Texas is going to be a red state in both of those cycles. That's a lot of that is because even with as weak a candidate as Donald Trump was in some traditional red states, he still beat Hillary, who was supposedly very strong in a lot of traditional red states, especially in the South. He still beat her by a solid 10 points. It was 9 point something. And Donald Trump is easily going to rebound that in 2020 to at least 11 or 13 points. It's not going to be, a 20-point blowout like it used to be, but it's still going to be very solid, and that means in 2024, it's going to probably be, maybe 2 or 3 points lower than that. 2028, about the same level, depending on who wins the presidency in 2024. Okay? And also, most of them seem to agree that Trump, if he survives his presidency, or at least this term, will probably win re-election. Anyway, so Texas is off the board for the Democrats, but I'm also going to venture to say that Georgia, unless the Democrats run an extremely strong candidate, Georgia's off the board for the Democrats. Simply because currently, it's where North Carolina was in the early to mid 2000s. In North Carolina, I'm going to say is going to remain a swing state. simply because right now it's a turnout-based swing state. The more turnout you get, the better off you are, and I think it's going to be a true toss-up for the next 3 or 4 cycles. Um, and North Carolina is going to go to whoever wins the election. Georgia, on the other hand, it'll take a very strong Democrat candidate to flip it in 2028 or in 2024. Could it happen? Yeah, obviously. Same. It's just the reason why I include Texas is not going to Democrats is it's just going to take literally the perfect storm in order to flip it. Okay, and now let's go to the big region. I think Iowa and Ohio, to a generic Republican, are going to be red states by healthy margins as well. I'm talking, 6 to 10 points. Iowa being more conservative than Ohio. And here's the other thing. I think as time goes on, these states right here, I think, in 2028, these will be, I don't want to say reliably red states, but they're going to be kind of in the position that, say, in Arizona is, where a Republican should carry them. Now, unfortunately, I can't do the splits for Nebraska and Maine, so I just have to assume one party wins it all. But I think Maine is trending Republican just because the rural part of the state is actually turning out in heavy amounts for the Republicans now. They used to be a lot like Vermont, in that it was a Democrat state and there's no point in even competing there. But I think as a whole, it's trending Republican, so I'm actually going to chalk that up to the Republicans. New Hampshire is going to remain a true swing state, pulled to the left by Massachusetts and pulled to the right by Maine. Now, 2024, I do actually, and these will be, true toss-up states, these two. But this is kind of what I think the swing state map will look like in the 2020s, of course, with these being swing states. But, I'm going to assume these are going to lean Republican. I'm going to go ahead and put in the leaning states. So those will lean Democrat, same with Virginia. Okay? So this is actually what I would expect a competitive election to look like, where both candidates do have a chance to win, except the problem is I think the Republicans do have an advantage. Florida generally leans ever so slightly to the right. So in a dead even election, but Florida could be expected to go to the Republicans, and now they only need one vote out of the rest of these. But let's just leave it as a blank for right now. Democrats will have to appeal to 4 completely different kinds of voters. Now, it's just, 4 completely different kinds of voters in order to pick this up, whereas Republicans, they only have to appeal to 1, really. Okay. They actually have to appeal to, they only have to appeal to 1. There we go. Republicans win. But here's the type. I'm going to go ahead and be generous to the Democrats and give them Arizona. State's been trending Democrat for a while now, and I just think they're going to be able to actually pull it off sometime in the next decade. 2028 most likely, but it's possible in 2024. Okay? 2024 will be the year where we actually find out how quickly it's shifting or whether or not I'm right. But I'll be generous. So this is where I would expect a generic Republican versus a generic Democrat to be in 2024. I think the Republicans are going to continue to play candidates who are strong in this part of the nation, in the manufacturing and rural, and that's going to give them, not Vermont. Wow. Could give them New Hampshire, and likely give them Minnesota. but I don't know. I'm expecting Minnesota to flip by the next decade. So we could easily see this being the election map, and honestly, I just don't. If the Republicans are picking up all of this, I do expect them to actually win in Florida. Which I'm gonna, like I said, I think North Carolina for the next 3 or 4 cycles will go to whoever wins the election. So this is kind of what I expect 2024 to look like. Not sure who's going to be the candidate. I'm just saying generic Democrat versus generic Republican. 2028, on the other hand, unfortunately, I can't do leans or likelies on this. So I'm just going to start like this. So this is a good example. This is what I think this swing state map would look like, but I think the Republicans could recapture it if they won in 2024, which this doesn't look good for the Democrats. 2032, I'll put that the first year where Texas is truly competitive. But Democrats could be losing states elsewhere. I'll go ahead and put Georgia in that category where it's actually starting to get super competitive as well. So, hey, look, Democrats actually have a slight advantage, but I think Republicans will still pick up Texas, and as you can see, that's massive. They may make some gains in the Northeast, maybe flip Rhode Island. Oh, yeah, Rhode Island actually lost a vote in this case. Huh. Maybe pick up Delaware. Maybe the Democrat could win like this, with a few losses up here, but it's going to be very close. I honestly think 2032 is the year the Democrats need to look for. Now, that doesn't mean Republicans won't be changing as well, but this is kind of what I expect the 2024 map to somewhat resemble. I'll be generous. Because if we put the exact same map here, minus the split up in Maine, so it's actually 309. This is what the Republicans won, and as you can see, the Republicans are gaining advantage. Demographics are switching towards Democrats in these states, but the problem is demographics are shifting in Republicans' favor over here. And even to a degree in states like Illinois, that would be enough. Delaware as well, and a little bit New Jersey. I mean, that said, I'm going to leave Florida off because it will always be a true swing state. I don't see it ever not being a swing state. And, eventually, Republicans are going to start just all of a sudden picking up states that they never used to be able to compete in up here in the Northeast and Northwest, but Democrats are probably going to start, changing things here. Maybe picking up here. Actually, I'll leave Alabama. And this could be a map that we could see way on down the future. Eventually, maybe these will flip. But that could mean that the Republicans may retake those areas. And it's really just a question of, will the North have power or will the South have power? Republicans may even eventually be able to flip California back. And, that'd probably be countered by Mountain West gains by the Democrats. And then, it'll start flipping back, to where all of a sudden, in some sort of weird, bizarro universe, now DC will always be Democrat, or some weird, bizarro universe, this is a map we have where it looks like the Republicans and the Democrats have completely flipped places. That could happen. It could. Don't laugh. It could. It would take time, and then all of a sudden it's going to start flipping again. Where maybe, Republicans would probably have a few bad years, but then all of a sudden it'll start flipping again. Who knows? Or we may just have completely new parties. Or there could be a major realignment. And something else really weird happens. Who knows what's going to happen? For example, maybe it all of a sudden turns into, a purely agriculture battle. Agriculture versus manufacturing. In that case, where the Republicans come out in favor of agriculture over manufacturing. This could be, actually South Carolina and Georgia are fairly agricultural. This could be a map we look at. Shall I put Minnesota with the manufacturing groups? That could be a map we look at. Who knows? Honestly. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and tune in soon for the next 2020 projection.